and effortlessly. And you can open the eyes, and we'll come onto our backs now. So take your time getting there, going at your own pace through today's practice, never pushing into any pain. Plant the feet to the ground, and we'll inhale the arms up and overhead, and then exhale them back alongside the body. Just keep going, flowing through that motion here. So our solar plexus chakra is associated with our willpower, how we take action, how we stay in control of our own lives. And that's what we'll be focused on today. Wonderful. Now let's lift the head and shoulders off the mat and just start stepping the feet. So just alternating left and right, just lifting each foot up a couple of inches here. If you're wondering if your solar plexus chakra may be out of balance, I will link in the description box below to an excellent book that includes some quizzes you might want to try as we start lifting both feet up a couple of inches now. Keeping those shoulders off the mat, engaging through the abs. Wonderful. And now let's lift up, and we're going to transition into hands and knees, shoulders above wrists, hips above knees. And we'll just do some traditional cat-cows here. So inhale as we arch the spine, looking up, and exhale as we round the back, pressing the floor away. And just keep going here. So when this chakra is out of balance, we might struggle with a lack of self-confidence or feel as though we lack a sense of direction and we're just going through the motions of life. Might even have digestion or liver problems, mid-back pain, emotional problems. Good for you taking the time today. As we tuck the toes under, now we'll just lift the knees and hover them a couple of inches off the mat. Still squeezing through the glutes, keeping a little bit of activity in the abs as well. And then we'll set that down. Rest the forearms on the mat now, and we'll come into a forearm plank. So one straight line here from the heels to the crown of the head, squeezing the legs together, pressing the forearms down into the mat to lift the shoulders just a little bit higher. I accomplish tasks easily and effortlessly. And then we'll set the knees down. Very nice job. And we'll just come into a child's pose with the knees apart, big toes touching, resting the forehead on the mat, closing the eyes, and just settling into some nice deep breaths here. And then let's lift up out of that child's pose. Place the hands, and we'll lower down into knees, chest, and chin. And then inhale our way forwards into a baby cobra, hovering the hands off the mat. And then plant the hands down and lift up into a little bit of a higher cobra. So just a gentle back bend here, not lifting too high. And then sway the spine down. And one last time, arching up into your deepest cobra. Maybe lifting the chin to look at the ceiling. And then we'll just press back into hands and knees, tuck the toes, and lift back into a downward facing dog. So pedaling the feet here just a couple of times, swaying the hips side to side, shaking the head yes and no. And then come to stillness and And on an inhale, reach the right leg up towards the sky, and then step it forward between the hands to find a nice high lunge, reaching for the ceiling with both hands. And then on an exhale, bring the hands to prayer in front of the solar plexus, and we'll twist towards the right. So you might hook that left elbow onto the outside of the right knee. Just looking over the right shoulder here. And then we'll come back to center, little bobble there for me. Plant the hands, and I'll step it back to plank. Lower the knees, lower the chest and the chin. And inhale forwards back into our baby cobra, floating the hands. Exhale to sway the spine down. Inhale to lift just a little bit higher. Lower it down, and then inhale into our fullest cobra, our deepest back bend here, before we push back the hands and knees and find our downward facing dog. Very good. Pedaling the feet a few more times here before we try the other side. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, stepping it forward, finding our high lunge here, reaching the arms. And then hands can come to prayer in front of the chest. And we'll come into that left side twist now. So hooking the right elbow to the left knee. Looking over that left shoulder, still pressing that back heel back away from us. So in addition to yoga, we can work on balancing our third chakra with working our abs, whether that's an ab workout or an abdominal massage, or it's also linked to the element of fire. So lighting some candles, spending time by a bonfire or a fireplace. So we inhale the arms back up and step back into our plank pose. Very nice. Lower the knees, the chest, the chin. And inhale to sweep forwards into our baby cobra. Pulling the shoulder blades together. And lower down. Inhale up again. Add the arms, come up a little bit higher. And exhale, wave the spine down. And inhale into our final cobra. A little bit higher, hold it here. And then exhale to slowly lower the chest back down. Let's rest the forehead now on the back of the hands. And we'll just rock our hips from side to side here. Just a gentle swaying motion. Releasing any tension in the lower back. Another thing that can help with our solar plexus chakra is self-affirmation. So writing a bit of a love note to ourselves, maybe something like, I am worthy, to remind ourselves of what we can accomplish and how we can do whatever we will to do. And we'll press back up, very nice. And come to a seated position. We'll come into some 90-90 swivels here. So 90-90 swivels is basically what the name implies. We're creating 90-degree angles with both legs, our knees at right angles. And we're just swiveling those knees from side to side here. So you can prop up on the hands, lifting the chest a little bit, and just enjoying this loosening motion in the hips. And then the next time your right leg is in front, just settle there and facing to the right, so twisting beyond that right knee. And if this is a difficult position, we can always sit our hips up on a block or on a cushion. Just maybe tiptoeing the fingertips a little bit further to the right here as we breathe deeply in and out through the nose. Our hips tend to store a lot of emotions, which emotions are closely linked to a blocked third chakra or solar plexus chakra. So they kind of go hand in hand. And then we can walk the fingertips back to center, and we'll try the other side. So first, swiveling those hips over, facing our left knee in front now. And then slowly walking our hands towards the left into a little bit of a twist here. Still keeping the spine nice and tall. Just noticing if one side may have been a little bit more or less accessible than the other. And just sending our breath to the area of the solar plexus. Wonderful. And then we'll walk the fingertips back. And we'll lower now onto our hips. We'll press back onto our hips and come into boat pose. So raising the knees towards the chest. You can stay back on the hands or lift the chest up and float the hands off the mat. Either staying right here, you might even choose to extend the legs for a little bit of additional power in that core area, keeping the abs nice and engaged here. And then bending the knees and lowering back down onto our backs. And let's find a nice twist here. So the arms can come out in the shape of a T. And we'll start by dropping both knees over towards the left, maybe looking over the right shoulder. And closing the eyes here. If you haven't had a chance to try them yet, this is actually the third chakra yoga practice on my channel, appropriately, since we are dealing with our third chakra. And of course, I'll link in the description box below to the first and second 15-minute chakra practices as well. And do let me know in the comments below if you're enjoying these. As we come back to center, maybe hugging the knees into the chest for just a moment. And then releasing both knees over towards the right. And maybe looking over that left shoulder. And as I'm sure you've guessed from my outfit, the color associated with our solar plexus chakra is yellow. So yellow clothing or food or just bringing that color into our lives can be a wonderful way to honor this chakra as well. So just another thing to consider. Always looking to balance each of our chakras. And we can bring the knees back to center, hugging them in, just rocking a little bit from side to side. Keeping the eyes closed, the breath nice and deep and steady. And when you're ready, you can release the knees, extend both legs out, turning the palms towards the sky. And imagine a warm yellow light bathing your body, bathing your soul. And just let yourself notice how you're feeling now as compared to when you came to your mat today. I accomplish tasks easily and effortlessly.